Hi, everybody. Dee Dee Russell here with Wedding Venue Owners and the Wedding Venue Owners Working Vacations at weddingvenueowners.com and the Wedding Venue Owners and Managers community on Facebook. If you have not found it, please find it. We would love to have you join our Facebook community, find your tribe, find a lot of solutions to all of the things that wedding venue owners and managers experience in their day-to-day operations. And joining us is our favorite wedding insurance expert, Lee Midkiff with Ventura of Ventura.co.
Hello there,
Welcome, Lee.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lee is here because we are talking about how to start a wedding venue. We have a lot of people that come into the network or inbox or email, and they're very curious in the first, either they're just purchasing their property to start a venue, or they're purchasing a property from someone else, or they're just kind of in that dream mindset where they're getting everything in a row to start a wedding venue. And so we love to answer the questions here because Lee is not only an wedding insurance expert, but also a venue owner.
Been there, done that. Still learning.
We're all still learning. That's the really beautiful part of owning a wedding venue is, or being a venue manager, is that there's just so many things that you didn't expect to come across your table. Both exciting and makes for not a boring career.
Absolutely. No, it's an interesting journey, and at least from my perspective, as I've met other venue owners in our area and so forth, all the things that you touched on. Maybe they bought the property, maybe they're converting something, and they've had the dream, they have an asset with an existing property building that they're looking at converting. The journey is so different for so many people and how they actually get to that point of let's pull the trigger and let's make this happen.
Absolutely. So let's start off with don't spend a fortune is one of my tips. So for those of you starting a wedding venue or starting a position at a wedding venue, maybe you're starting a new position in hospitality, and you're kind of, in that startup mode. My advice to you is be careful with your spending. You may have a large amount that you have and you're feeling good initially, but spending in the wrong place will leave you with a horrible feeling in the pit of your stomach of regret, and you'll think about it every night when you go to bed. Whether it's $50 or $5,000 or $10,000 that you really wish you didn't spend. Some of the pitfalls on spending are immediately getting involved in wedding industry advertising. As soon as you open a wedding venue and you start to promote on Facebook or social media, you will start to get hit up by experts wanting to sell you advertising all over the place. I would recommend invest in your own website, your own SEO, and your social media marketing that you control, and you can control the content, you can control the reach. Can control the spending. So really make sure that you have control initially. Your website should be bringing you your best, most targeted leads anyway. So Lee, your feedback on some of those ways people spend way too much on
absolutely. Don't people jump into this, they think I've got to be I've got to be on this site or this site. I'll avoid saying certain sites there, but we know who they are.
And I've got to spend websites.
I've got to spend $500 a month here or so forth. Well, the reality is that you think that that's the way that it's done out there, but look, we know the conversion statistics probably don't justify some of the money spent, and you're going to wish that it was spent someplace else. You talk about your own SEO, build relationships. Don't get completely latched into certain vendors, but you're new. People are going to want to see what you have to offer. They're also going to want to work with you because they're going to see you as an opportunity to garner business as well. In my situation, we did a lot of styled shoots early on, nice styled shoots. Vendors, it allowed us to expand quickly, footprint within our own site with cross social media, using others' existing channels, those type of things, and did it at a very low cost point. Involves a little bit of sweat equity, design, putting that together, structuring what that's going to look like. But at the end of the day, a lot less money than if you'd gone out there and started, spending money on those paid advertising sites. And look, if you don't have the content and you don't have examples of your product, you're not going to get anywhere either if you do jump down that road. So take it easy and, make the most of relationship building and sweat equity as you can there early on.
Absolutely. Your vendors will be a great resource for you, but take the time to develop with them. Don't make promises, don't make commitments to vendors until you really understand who they are as a vendor, if they can comply with your policies at your venue, if their branding matches your branding. A lot of vendors will come to you and want exclusive relationships, much like they don't spend a fortune on advertising all over the place initially, that you might be able to just not do it all. Don't have FOMO, fear of missing out, with those big wedding websites. You probably don't need them. And there's a longer discussion that goes with that, but really do your research before you jump in. And then, as Lee said, with those vendors, styled shoots and events that you'll have, open houses and partnerships will come along, and you're interviewing them, you're testing them, you're seeing if they kind of speak the same language as your venue, you know, that you can communicate well together and work well together. A lot of them will come along and want some sort of exclusive relationship or sell themselves as some sort of expert and give you all types of terrible advice or bad advice. You are an expert. You got this far. You're a business owner. You have a different mindset than a lot of people. You're an entrepreneur. You are savvy and smart. You have gotten this far to start your own business. Don't doubt yourself that you allow someone else to come along saying, I'm an expert, here's how you should run your business. And they give you terrible advice. And, you know, you regret the day you met them. And sometimes they can really damage your reputation in the beginning. So be very careful as you're, you know, kind of connecting with vendors and you're feeling out those relationships. Don't jump into an exclusive relationship right away. And don't take every bit of terrible advice they have. It never fails. Every venue that I meet and connect with, there was some expert that came along in the beginning that they wish they hadn't met. And, you know, a lot of them will say, well, I'll help you start a wedding show or a wedding open house, or I'll help you with the style shoot. And very often it's amazing. And that's a great find, and they're great and they're going to help you. And that's awesome. But sometimes it's someone that just knows enough to sound like they know what they're doing. And then the style shoot is terrible. You wouldn't want it online. It's an embarrassment. It doesn't go with your branding. They told all the vendors you'd pay them something, or that they would have, I don't know what. And it's just a mess. Or the same thing with that wedding open house. Sometimes they come along and know just enough, but then they're planning it so badly. And I've had this happen a lot, where they realize it's going to be a train wreck and they run away. They remove their name from the event, they leave you holding the bag, and they run away, and it's a terrible nightmare.
Right. No, it's if I can add one thing to it, look, you've gotten this far. You had a vision for what your venue is. You had a vision for the product that you wanted to create. That's what got you excited. That's what got you wanting to do this. Sure, take in as much information as you can. Free information, you know, valuable information from industry resources, but don't let somebody completely steer you off the path and the vision that got you to where you are. Let it evolve. Give yourself time to learn more, to understand more. Maybe your product will evolve, but don't jump like the squirrel thing. Like somebody throws something new at you, you got to where you are. Stay on the path that you started. You know your product, and that the more you understand it, the more successful it will be.
Absolutely. You are smart. Don't let anyone come along telling you, if you don't do it my way, I'm an expert, you're stupid. That happens so often. Don't fall for that. Get that person, you know, out of your life. If they're telling you that you're stupid and you have to do it my way and you don't know what you're doing, you are, like Lee said, you're very smart. You've gotten this far. Trust your instincts and research, really research, so that you have a lot of different pieces of information. Something could be successful at the venue up the road that will not be successful for you. And I do have to say, another piece of bad advice that a lot of these experts give, I'll get called in to come and meet with a venue. Usually by the time I get called in, a lot of times they've talked to 3 or 4 people, and somebody came along that was like, oh, you have a tent that's from Home Depot and a dirt floor. You could charge $50,000 for this venue. The one up the street does it. It's almost the same. And the venue owner loves what they hear. And now you have a hard time convincing them or pulling them back from listen. You do have a beautiful property, or it's lovely, or there's some developments maybe that you would need to do before you get to this price package from the competitor up the road that's been here for 10 years and has marble columns and a big, huge ballroom and another facility for receptions and outdoor gardens that are 100 years old. these are apples and oranges. So just because somebody comes along and tells you something really sounds good and you love hearing it, like another one is, oh, you could book 100 weddings here. Completely build your model on the fact that you are going to book 100 weddings easy. There's so many weddings all the time. It doesn't matter. Well, maybe they don't realize there's 100 other wedding venues in your market. And there's a lot of, very smart marketing and advertising and, business foundation that went into their model that's been around for 5, 10, 15 years. And that's why they book 100 weddings at their venue, believing that you're going to book 100 your first year it has happened, but it is not the rule. It's very rare that that's going to, so be reasonable with your numbers. When those experts come along and tell you stuff that you want to hear, it sounds good. It really does. And I hope that it happens for you, but please be reasonable with your expectations and do your research.
Along those lines, Didi, I will say too, don't sell yourself short either. I've seen some venues that I've seen emerge since I've been in this. They're new, desperate to get those first bookings that first year or so forth. And at the end of the day, they priced themselves. Maybe it was a confidence element. They priced themselves and cannibalized a lot of their own margin. They could have done a lot better than they did. And I realize that's a fine line. You're trying to get that initial first year or two worth of bookings, but at the same time, don't also put yourself in a massive hole. And there's some of those that you see sometime and you're just like, you could be getting 25% more, and I know this market, and no one would flinch. And so that's a balance as well. So, it takes a little bit of a learning curve, but trust your gut, trust your instincts, and kind of go from there.
What I like to tell venue owners too is if you're feeling stressed, I see a lot of stressed out new venue owners. They just invested a fortune and they're freaking out and they're in a panic. Running your business in a panic is always kind of a bad motivator. I like to say you have fear or faith. When you're running your business in faith and confidence, and you really, set the foundation and you've done the research and you have good people around you with good information that are tried and true successes, you feel more confident and in a better place. But when you're fear-based and you're freaking out and you're in a panic, not only sometimes are you losing your great relationships that can be a support system of you around you, sometimes you are, overdoing it with your vendors, trying to, do kickbacks and little things that aren't really going to make you any money anyway. And then the pricing of it, freaking out that you either overprice it crazy or you underprice it. Like Lee said, nothing will burn you out faster and make you not love what you're doing than underpricing, because you're usually getting people in that won't appreciate you. A lot of people think if I bend over backwards for these people and I give them everything, they're going to love me. That is not always the case. You really have to find your best customer, your best clientele, brand to them, reach out to them, market to them, advertise to them, identify who they are, what they're paying and how they value you. Because if you underprice, there's just so many negatives that can come from that. I like to always say, if you're dead set to do that and you're like, I'm going to just, go a couple $1,000s lower than I really should, do it for the first 3. Do it for the first 3, get the content from those weddings and those other things that you need, get a few trial runs. It's an educational experience for you. You're learning a lot with each new wedding. Get those things under your belts. Have a lot of protective language in your contracts so that they know that they're not getting, like if should be an $8,000 rental fee and you're doing $5,000, make sure that they know you're getting a huge discount here because you're one of the first weddings. So please have realistic expectations. So that is a huge issue. Again, research, lots of research. I want to say respect your venue owner community in your market. When you come into a new market, do not pretend to be the parents of engaged couples and go around so that you can see everybody's contracts. Don't call around under false pretenses so that you can get information. Introduce yourself to those venue owners. Be respectful of them. They've been around for 5, 10, 15 years. They've done a lot of hard work to make it easier for you to start your wedding venue. So, give them that appreciation for being there. Don't go in with it that we're enemies of each other and we're in conflict. Absolutely not. Most of them will be incredibly helpful to you. Most of them will welcome you on a venue tour and come in and I can give you some advice. I can give you some information. I can share some things about venues. But if you go in deceptively to get information, that's never going to go over well for you. And if you go in to annihilate them or think of them as your enemy, that's terrible too, because realistically, you're all working together to bring more weddings into that market. And when that venue is booked and you come in the right way and you build a good relationship, they will refer couples to you when their dates are booked up and those couples want something like yours. Venue owners do it all the time. I hear it oh, nobody does that. We're all in competition. What pie in the sky place are you thinking of, Dee Dee? That doesn't happen. Happens all the time. Venue owners do work together. They do support each other. They do make the market better and healthier, and they work together to create and implement policies that also are venue first focused. So come into the market respecting your established wedding venues and seek a great relationship with them. They're there to support the entire industry, not just themselves most of the time.
You're also respecting their relationships that they have. That's one of those things. If they've been around for 5, 10, 15 years, they've built their own relationships. They know every other vendor in town. They've probably worked some difficult days with those vendors hand in hand. If you come in and you're that guy and do things deceptively, that's quickly going to tarnish your name way further than that particular venue. It's going to run downstream into the community with caterers, florists, planners, whomever it may be. So make friends, sum it up like that.
Absolutely. They're going to be your best asset. Work together, not in conflict with each other. Working in conflict with each other makes it expensive for everybody. Trust me, working together reduces costs. Happy to tell you what I mean by that. If you ever want to inbox me or message me, but we do have venue owners all over the country forming alliances that are saving them a fortune. And Lee and I are, in talk. We have a lot of talks behind the scenes. We'll share all that right now. But if you are interested in that, I'd love to talk to you more about that and how our venue owners can form those alliances to save a lot of money, a lot of headache, and have a venue first focus, which is very important for all of your success. So another tip I want to say, if you're starting a wedding venue or you're in a new wedding leadership role at an established venue, join the Wedding Venue Owners Wedding Venue Owners group on Facebook. First and foremost, close to 5,000 members. They share information, strategies for success, best practices, their favorite insurance company, which of course is Ventura. They share information about that. They refer floor cleaning companies like Moppet, who we love. Shout out to Moppet, our guys over at Moppet that are amazing and helping our venue owners get all those disgusting things off their floors. So join the Wedding Venue Owners and Managers community on Facebook. I'll link it at the end of this video. You're going to find a ton of information. You're going to find your tribe and you're going to find solutions and support. And it's also just good to be around people, the only other people in the world who know exactly what you're going through and what you're dealing with. A community of support is very important.
Absolutely, Dee Dee. And one thing that I was going to say, when they join your group, it is so big and so unique. One of the things that I personally find positive about it is that you will see there's similarities in venues, there's differences in venues, there's different models, there's, I have a banquet center, I have a large farm, I have creative people can turn anything into a venue today. But what I love about your group is that you can also, within the questions or so forth, it may be somebody cross country, but you can relate to, hey, that guy's got something that very much mimics, my vision or my particular model or whatever it may be. So, embrace the local people, build up in that community. And then also your group gives you the ability to, if you do have a unique edge or something like that, you're going to find somebody who's fairly similar to you within your group is my experience with that, which is, it's very nice because they may have been doing this for 5, 10, 15 years. And it's relatable and education at the same time. So definitely follow Dee Dee's lead and get online there.
It's way better to do these things together and think about it. If it was a chef's community, you want to see the things that make you, that burn you in the kitchen and stay away from those things. They're tried and true. And you want to see some of the innovative things that people are doing, some of the things you've never thought of. And it's a great community. It's so supportive. So join in, start to research. You could do a lot of research in that group alone. So a lot of the things that you're curious about or that are only specific to you, you might find the solutions in that group. Finally, I want to, well, not finally, but join the Wedding Venue Owners Working Vacations. We go to a different city every month. We get to tour wedding venues. We have new venue owners that attend. We have investors that attend. We have venue owners that are selling their venues that attend. We have venue owners that are, have very well established and have been running their venue for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 years. The reason they're attending these wedding venue owner working vacations is to tour other wedding venues, to get inspired, to get educated, to connect, to kind of see some of the strategies for success that they've used. So there's so many incredible things. Also, just to hang out with other wedding venue owners in an amazing city like Phoenix or New Orleans or Nashville. You can't help but get inspired when you go and you look through the eyes of a venue owner, and you get to see these amazing other venues. And I want to shout out to all the venues who have hosted us in these cities that we've toured and allowed us to come into their venue. They are so incredibly sweet, sharing some of the coolest things. Every venue I go to, I see something I've never seen before. I see a solution I have never thought of. I see something I've never seen. And it's an incredible opportunity to learn the best wedding venue strategies directly from other successful wedding venue owners. So Wedding Venue Owners Working Vacation, join us on that. Those are good resource.
Absolutely. I think you didn't mention it, but I'm going to say it from the venue owner standpoint. It's also a sanity check being around other people in the business, because there's plenty of times any prospective or existing venue owners you have right now, I guarantee they've sat there and thought, am I the only one that deals with this? Like, various scenarios, situations, those type of things, both online within your group and face to face with people. Sometimes talking about war stories is good, where you realize that I'm not the only one who had to deal with this.
That feels good. I mean, that really feels good. It's not that we wish it on somebody else, but it feels really good to know that somebody else got denied for their permit 7 times and they kept going until they got approved and were able to build their venue. Or somebody else has a neighbor screaming and yelling threats at them. I'm going to shut your venue down. I don't like you. And how did they deal with it? Or somebody, and this is a big one, nobody wants our fellow venue owners getting bad reviews or going through that or having that, obsessed person screaming and yelling and threatening them and wanting, basically in that review extortion moment, which a lot of venue owners experience. It feels awful. It feels terrible to go through that by yourself. When you're in the group and you share, they come out of the woodwork to talk about how they have experienced that. Here's what they did, and we're sorry. It just feels good to be surrounded by your community when you're dealing with a challenge that you really, suffering from. We tell everyone not to be personal with their business, but running a wedding venue is very personal.
Absolutely. You are there. By nature, the product and the service you're delivering, it's personal. You get to know these couples, you get to know the families. But yet sometimes things, back to client expectations, vision can outstrip reality. Sometimes people get upset, and the review thing is the one particularly. I've seen that quite frequently within your forum of the group coming together to support people who have been in that one-off situation. And again, it's an industry that's better united than on its own on each little front. So
absolutely
encourage people that are looking to start a wedding venue to get involved and educate themselves through a collaboration with others in the space.
So Lee and I were going to do a 5-minute video here, and as you can see, this is probably 10 or 12 minutes. So we didn't talk about contracts, we didn't talk about a lot of other stuff, but we're going to do a series here, and we're trying to make them very short, which seems silly because there's so much that you as a startup wedding venue want to know, or somebody that's in the role in another venue that's maybe in a new role, that I know you have a lot of questions. I know there's a ton of things that you want to know, but we want to keep these series short so that we can throw a lot of good info at you, get you thinking about things, hopefully encourage you to come to the group, but to start to think about some of these things that come up all the time. We're going to do these very frequently. If you have a topic that we missed today, which are plentiful, no time to get to everything. It's too many things. If you have a topic that's important to you and you would love for Lee and I to share some feedback on that, him as a venue owner, me as a professional venue nerd, wedding nerd, we'd love to, post your comments below. Tell us where we went wrong. Tell us what else we forgot. Some of the solutions we could have added to this. Post in the comments below some of the things that you're going through, and maybe you'd like some solutions to that. So we love that you joined us here. We love that you are, joining in the crazy world of wedding venue ownership. We congratulate you. We want you to know you are not alone. You're not on this journey by yourself. You have so many resources, so many free resources to help you get started, and so many colleagues that want to see you succeed. Truly, we want to see you succeed, and we're so proud of how far you've gotten. You've done this. You're amazing. You deserve an award already for how far you've come. Wherever you are in the process of opening your venue, you are going to create jobs in your market. You are going to be the stage where weddings happen, where romance, once in a lifetime romances occur. You are going to create, revenue for your local community. You have so many things you're going to do. So we're here to support you. I hope we answered some things that you were thinking about. Some questions that are important to you, and Lee and I will be doing this so frequently. So come back and see the next video in a week or two. Absolutely. Some of us that are obsessed with weddings and all things wedding venue, we love what we do and we love our colleagues. So we do answer questions all the time. So I'm going to put Lee's information at the end, Lee Midkiff with Ventura Insurance, ventura.co. All of that will be at the end, as well as the group information and everything else in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.